Come on. So there he is, painting a painting in which I feature. How often do you get to see a person from a picture in a National Trust property? You don't, because they're all dead. That's why. Just really says it all about the Midlands, doesn't it? Just, it says it, really. I mean, that's the Midlands for you. That's the Midlands. I have absolutely no idea what the Midlands are used for anymore. I mean, as Richard Croft said himself, money is good, but saddlebacks are even better. He was quite a big fan of pigs. And his descendant, Bobby Croft, in the 1920s, gutted Croft Castle, and it was actually used for pigs. They put hay everywhere, they got rid of all the floorboards, just concrete and pigs everywhere. Saddlebacks, sows, pink ones, brown ones, brilliant. So, sorry, as I was saying, Richard Croft spends a couple of weeks hanging out in January. He's reading, he's looking at his library, he's thinking, oh, I need some books, I need a good book, what shall I read? I've got nothing else to do, got no job. I thought at this point I'd be celebrating as delivering the royal heir to the throne. He's got nothing else to do, so he sits there, up in the ambassador's room. This painting over here features the ambassadors, of course. He's up there, reading this Love's Lost or whatever, and he's thinking to himself, well, I'm a reasonable chap. My dad wrote Love and Madness. You know, I'm into the bit of the old crazy stuff. So he takes a gun. And by his own hand, he dies. Now, not that sad. Because on the MacBook in front of me, on the table, on the MacBook, the computer screen there, is an image. It's a film. I believe there's a film. Isn't there, Nathaniel Pitt? Yeah. There's a film going on there of Richard Croft in this very room, walking out of the room, and it makes his path to a tent. And out of the tent, Croft lies down, the spirit of Croft. And no one can see him. That ghostly sceptre. That aristocratic. And he decides to lie down, and he kind of disappears. Part of this commission was to do with reconciling Croft with the castle, as though an artist could spend that time making a painting about Richard Croft, that I could somehow make up this character of Holofernes Binta, that I could somehow make this story interesting, somehow demonic, somehow, I don't know. What's the word? Evangelical. I wanted this story to be evangelical. On this computer screen, there's a reasonable man. A reasonable man who died by his own hand after the death of Princess Charlotte. In the 1920s, Richard Croft, his ghost, was responsible for cleaning out the pig poo from the back garden. I've got to read the disclaimer at this point, it's been 15 minutes. Where's the disclaimer gone? These paintings, one, two, either side of the pillar, these paintings are part of Time Will Tell. This is a programme of contemporary art at Croft Castle. The character of Holofernes Binta, that's me, is a work of fiction. It's made up. Sorry, not real. I'm not real, I'm made up. Imagined by the artist John Robinson. Somehow the syntax of that sentence doesn't really make sense, does it? Imagined. He's not real, he's imagined. And like James Croft and Richard Croft. Imagined by the artist John Robinson. My name's actually John M. Robinson, but that's not quibble. And inserted by him into the story of the death of Sir Richard Croft. For the real story, now in this, the National Trust has used bold writing over real story surrounding the circumstance of Sir Richard Croft's death, please visit the Ambassador's room. Currently in the dining room, go into the real story, it's much more interesting. Now, Holofernes Finter is an interesting character. This is of course a reenactment, and by nature, reenactments are used to reenact the past. I'm actually using this reenactment to demonstrate to you what the future could be like if there were more Holofernes Finters. Maybe there was a Holofernes Finter who was sitting in a car with Princess Diana as it veered off the highway and smacked into the 13th pillar. Maybe Holofernes Finter was sitting there next to Lee Harvey Oswald as he watched the motorcade go by and watched him not pull the trigger. Maybe he was sitting on those doomed airplanes as they zipped into the World Trade Center. Maybe there's a bit of Holofernes Finter in all of us. Maybe Holofernes Finter is here to undo the National Trust. Maybe Holofernes Finter doesn't like the National Trust very much. Maybe he's not a reasonable character. Maybe he loves the National Trust so much that he spent all this time painting this picture, doing all these drawings, delivering this 2-hour-long lecture all about the National Trust and Croft Castle and Holofernes Finter for your benefit. I'm going to take a short break, but we'll be back shortly with more stories of Sal's death and miscarriages.